My father was injured by chiropractors continually adjusting him here. So it's personal.
Right.
I don't want you being adjusted there. There you go. There you go. All right. How'd that feel? You all right?
Yeah, great.
All right, good. So, I see you. It's like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I see you.
So about 7 years ago, I was in a automobile accident, and I went to get adjusted at a chiropractor because I had a little bit of pain in my shoulders. I went to a new chiropractor because of the insurance change I had at the time, and I had an adjustment in my neck, which I'd never been adjusted like that before. She had me tilt my neck back, and she pushed down, and when she did it felt like everything stretched from my neck all through my shoulders. I woke up the next day and I couldn't move my arms above my shoulders, everything was spasmed. So I went to a regular doctor and got some muscle relaxers and pain medicine, which took care of it for a few days. And ever since then, I've started to have pain throughout my thoracic area that's got worse and worse over the years.
Give me one finger. Where's the most painful?
Right here is what I call ground zero.
Okay. Bottom of your shoulder blade on the right side.
Where it joins the ribs.
How about right here? Not so much midline.
No,
more.
Yeah, to the right. Yes.
Right to the right.
Yeah.
How about up in here? Anything
It
in here?
radiates up into my shoulders like a Y. Yeah.
Up in here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And when you had this accident, did they take imaging of your chest?
Not initially, but since then I've had
MRI?
the whole scan. Yeah, and according to the scans, I've got some pathology that looks at arthritis in my facet joints.
Okay. No disc injury. They didn't say anything was.
I've got a disc injury in L1, I think it is, or around the lower back.
Okay.
And apparently that's what's causing my numbness to my left leg.
Okay, that'd be L5,
L5, yeah.
L5, the lumbar guy 5 going
Yeah.
down the leg. Okay.
Yeah.
And did they take an MRI of your neck at all?
They did, yeah, and they found something around C7, I think stenosis.
Okay.
But I had an epidural there, and just to rule it out, and it did not help with the back pain.
Are you currently having numbness down the arms?
Not the arms, no, it's just pain in that.
Just the shoulder
area,
blade. Mm-hmm.
in that what I call ground zero, and then
Yeah.
as I sit or stand for a long period of time and lay down like when I'm sleeping, it just radiates all the way up through the spine to the shoulder blades.
Mm-hmm. I'll refer you to this picture over here. So the knuckles, you're saying C7,
Yeah.
C6, C7. The joint will give you pain here.
Okay, well that's where I get pain.
Right. We're gonna, and then it's when you're laying on your stomach, and if you get adjusted in the lower neck, you're going to be putting a lot of force into a sprained ankle kind of idea. It's a sprained joint, and I disagree with that. I would say that we need to not do that. We want to work above and below that area to take the stress off of it. Posture is what puts the stress on that area to begin with. From a young age, we spend a lot of time with our head forward. We lose the curve in our neck. Our upper neck becomes tight, which is supposed to be the main engine. So our lower neck ends up doing more work. The lower neck inflammation to the joint gives you that referral pain. Did you have experience arm symptoms?
No, I didn't have any.
Never
had
done
any
that.
of sort of pain in the arms.
So even though you have on the MRI disc injury, you've had no arm symptoms,
Correct.
no burning, nothing there.
No.
Okay, that's good. So until the disc hits the nerve, it's not. So the injury's in there, but if it progresses further, that would, if you get something down your arm, that would be the explanation for it. But right now you're just experiencing the joint inflammation. They both happen together. The disc and the joint will both get inflamed together. They're a team. So the care is centered around two things: restoring the mechanics of your upper neck. And we're going to go up here. And Ed, it's down here. Why are you rubbing so much up here? We're going to try to move some stress to where your neck's supposed to work at the top. The alignment of your neck being curved makes it so your lower neck isn't stressed. When the lower neck is straight like a ladder, all the weight goes right to the bottom. Does that make sense? How long have you experienced the leg symptoms, that numbness?
This has been going on for 15, 20 years.
Okay.
I can live with this. It's the thoracic pain that really bothers me.
Is that numb currently right now?
The sensation feels different on it
Yes.
compared to the right leg.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So.
And that's stayed steady for 15 years?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And have chiropractors tried to address that? What kind of treatment have you had on that?
Nothing other than just a quick knee up and adjustment.
So when we're going to talk about it in a second when I'm adjusting, we want to not adjust your lower back. So when you go back home, it's hypermobility at the lower back, which is what causes it. Two things like your neck, the loss of lumbar curve makes all the stress go to that disc, and then hypermobility at L5 is what causes the disc to bulge and herniate. We want to do, the care needs to be focused on restoring the functionality of your middle back, getting the arch back in your middle back. If you had a lumbar curve, you wouldn't have had the disc injury. This begins at a teenager level. We should have been taught, what do we do now? We're going to try to remove as much stress. If it's been numb or you've had that, paresthetic type feeling on your leg for 15 years, it's going to be tough to waken that up. But we want to, at the very least, prevent that from progressing. It will, that's a more serious symptom. So pain is a nerve that's aggravated. Numbness is a nerve that's leaving, and that, it wouldn't just be numbness of your leg. There's going to be some level of weakness to an organ. That's what I'm also, colon, digestion, you understand, those are affected by this, because the nerve, as it comes out of the spinal cord, it bifurcates after where the disc can hit it. So if you have numbness on the side of your leg, there's also numbness to some organs. Now there's some overlap, there's redundancy to the nerves that go to your organs, so everything could be functioning, but it's just a weakened signal, and that is a serious, something that we want to, I'm having some digestive issues, we want to not let that progress.
Yeah, I like to ride motorcycles, and if I go for like more than an hour sitting down,
yes,
when I get off I can barely stand up, and all my pelvis is just numb.
Right. It's just, that's the disc that's injured, and the sitting and then being vibrated is inflaming that lower back. When you were face down, like you're saying, you were face down, the chiropractor adjusted your lower neck. The holes the nerves go through get smaller when we go into extension. They get larger when you bend forward. This is commonly why we see people as they age just go forward in avoidance. The arch, well, Dr. Ed, you just said there's supposed to be an arch in my neck. Isn't that a good thing to be on your belly and push the curve into the neck? The issue is that if your lower neck's the main thing moving, you're going to inflame it going right into that area. We want the curve to be in your neck, but not by making your lower neck do it, but by making your upper neck primarily restoring the curve. The hole gets smaller and then the nerve got squeezed, right? So it's unfortunate that we go in there and adjust the lower neck. That should be avoided at all costs. So when you have pain in here, you have the ribs are coming in and attaching to the side of the vertebrae.
Yeah, that's
here.
ground zero for me right there.
Right, so you have, riding on a motorcycle might make it feel better because you're avoiding, and then when you try to get up, you're compressing the joint,
right,
coming back, so your body's going to want to heal. Healing in this position is what will aggravate the lower back. You understand? So they're both connected together in the sense that the more you avoid this, the more stress is going to go to your lower back, hastening the aging of your lower back and the growing of your symptoms down your legs. There are rib joints in here that are upset, and then you have overlap from his lower neck. So you have the lower neck referral pain coming down to this area, and then you have the rib. And so we're going to have to assess them on the table a little bit to see how much of each component it is. How tight your upper neck is going to tell me how much it's coming from your lower neck, right? If your upper neck moves beautifully, I'm going to say it's probably more rib, right? If your upper neck is really tight, it's probably more lower neck. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And going through what you're saying, I had this, how many years ago was that adjustment on your lower neck, you think?
6 or 7 years ago.
And it's, so, it probably has a lot to do with your lower neck, and that's, my dad's been teaching me since a little boy, fix the neck, shoulders first. The lower back responds to the alignment of your head and shoulders, so get this lined up first and deal with this, and then the lower back legs will start to get better. Deep breath in for me. And then let all the air out. Exhale. Yeah, deep breath in. Here we go. Exhale. Chin down a little bit. All right, deep breath in. Exhale. Let it go. Nice. Okay. All right. We got it. You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good pop. Is that
Those joints are swollen. Some of them sound like they're in water.
Yeah.
They're like, some of them are crisp and some of them are like, there's inflammation in there from your posture. Try to arch your lower back. So this is a couple things to catch when you're up north. Remember how that's supposed to be curved down there?
Yeah.
I don't want the knee up real high and this flattening out. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
So when we're adjusting, I'd be just curious to ask your chiropractor, this guy in Sarasota said there's supposed to be an arch in my back. Should we be, encouraging that arch or removing the arch?
Okay.
And see what they say. And all right, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Try to turn your head towards me. There we go. Oh boy, yeah, it's tight. All right, deep breath in. Exhale. That's okay. That's it. I'm going to show you what I don't want. Is somebody going in here.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And grabbing L5.
That's normally what I get.
So I need you to say to them, I have a disc injury on MRI.
Okay.
Explain to me how adjusting that area is going to help me. My father was injured by chiropractors continually adjusting him here. So it's personal.
Right.
I don't want you being adjusted there. You can get worse. I understand it's numb here. I don't want it going all the way under your foot like my father's. So I want your lower back left alone. Over mechanical motion, it's like a sprained ankle. It's been constantly moving. We have to leave it alone, ice it, brace it, move the areas around, okay? All right. Just ask naive questions. This guy in Sarasota said, and if they say, he's full of crap, I don't know what to say. But at least have a dialogue. All right, good. Exhale for me. Look over the shoulders best you can. There you go. Exhale. All right, breathe in deep. Exhale. Come on. All right, let's go. Face up for me. It's okay. Face up. A little tight. So when you've been to free of chiropractors, how do they adjust that thoracic cage? And have you felt something like that before?
I have not felt that much adjustment before, no.
How do they typically adjust that chest area?
They don't. I normally just adjust it from the rear.
Just face down and then you're pushing down. Okay. All right. Yeah, I find with the way I doing that, we call that an anterior adjustment. I use the weight of your chest and my weight. Does that make sense? In harmony. When you do face down, there's nothing wrong with double transverse or double theanard. It's just it's a lot harder on my wrist because I'm just using my body weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And with the anterior, we can use both our weights together. All right, 1 second. Big knot here on the right. Hello. Big right atlas knot here. Access to everything's over to the right. All right. So see how your neck really, see his neck really folds. Carl, come over here. See how his neck folds primarily right there? See that? Where his neck is folding? The neck doesn't really fold up here. The skin folds down here, and that's where the vertebrae are folding. So we want to leave your lower neck alone. We want to try to loosen your upper neck as much as possible. Just this top guy a little bit. Here we go. Let it go. Let me have this side. There you go. You all right?
Yep.
Okay. Even that adjustment, it's called, it's a cervical brake adjustment, rotary brake we call it. That adjustment, there's a lot of nuances to it. They teach it in school. I'm not gonna do it. You understand? But they teach in school to do it like this. You flex, you turn, and then you just rotate somebody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And remember how I said there's supposed to be a curve in your neck?
Right.
I'm not going to adjust you. I'm just going to show you in slow motion. When I'm adjusting you, if you notice, your chin is going up. Relax your neck. I got you. But you get the idea. I'm bringing your chin up. See that?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Know
Right.
the difference?
Mm-hmm.
And just you got to be careful when you're finding a chiropractor. Again, I was trained since I was 12, 13 years old by my father how to properly adjust a neck. It is difficult to isolate just the upper neck when you're doing that adjustment. It takes, years. Took my dad years of, you're doing it wrong, to sort of teach me how to do it properly. It's easy to just adjust the lower neck because it's loose. Does that make sense? It's easy to adjust the parts that are loose. It's difficult to adjust the stiff parts. It's even more difficult to only adjust the stiff parts. But that's the whole point of an adjustment, is to balance the neck and to not just try to pop everything that can pop. And relax right here. Let me have it. There you go. There you go. All right. How'd that feel? You all right?
Yeah, great.
All right, good. So it shouldn't cause you really shouldn't feel your lower neck at all. My goal is for you to feel your upper neck, and Ed, that maybe was a little uncomfortable in my upper neck, or that was a little sore. That's something I would give a thumbs up to. I'm pushing on this knot up here. Hello. Has anybody shown you this thing?
No.
No, okay. I'm so sorry. That is, it's not small. Can't let you avoid that. And that makes me the bad guy a little bit, right? Because I'm going to make you not go away from the things that are sore. I teach confrontation. Give me an example of a problem that gets better by avoiding it. Angry wife.
Yeah, good
air
luck.
conditioning broken, IRS. They don't just forget. So I teach turning around, confronting, not avoidance. Even though temporarily it's maybe kinder or easier to avoid. It's getting smaller, but yeah, right. You'll actually recruit your lower neck and upper back. Well, mainly your upper back recruitment happens when your upper neck isn't functioning properly. So you overwork your lower neck. Does that make sense? And then your upper chest will help and assist in cervical rotation. And that torments the heck out of the thoracic vertebrae. They're not designed to turn your neck. You see people do it all the time when they do this, right? Instead of just turning your neck, right, they'll do this. They'll rotate with their shoulders because their neck is unable to do what it's designed to do, primarily the upper neck. And turning with your shoulders, or using your shoulders to turn to help rotate your neck, is going to torment the heck out of your upper back, causes a lot of joint inflammation in your upper back, which is ultimately from head being forward, upper neck being stiff, big knot up here on the right side. This has to be untangled. Never had this done before, I imagine?
No.
Okay. Just trying to speed up the blood flow. It's a way to bring oxygen in the tissue to bind to lactic acid, form carbon dioxide and water. Acidity builds up in the tissues that are knotted up and tight. That's why muscles burn when you work them out. If your whole neck was working evenly, even though I disagree with the lower neck adjustment that was done, it wouldn't hurt people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If your whole neck was working evenly, or if the lower neck was not very injured, that's how people get away with that adjustment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But an injured lower neck, a sprained ankle that's manipulated is going to hurt. And an ankle that's not sprained, that's manipulated, not going to hurt somebody, even though I disagree with the whole methodology of going in there and adjusting the lower neck. That's, I think, why it can happen. Epidurals, how many did you say you had?
I've had close to a dozen.
Wow. Lower neck and lower back? Or
I've had 2 in the neck, and then the rest have been in the thoracic area and lower back.
Okay. So, and nobody really wants to ask the question, why is there inflammation, right?
Right.
If I put my hand on a hot stove, my hand will get inflamed because of the damage to the tissue. The only answer to me is to take the hand off the stove. If I get punched in my face swells up. If I inject cortisone or epidurals into my face, does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I keep getting punched in my face, I don't see how we're going to get anywhere. We need to stop the mechanical stressing that's causing the inflammation to begin with. That's the only way for it to not keep coming back and not just getting temporary relief. The issue is that it doesn't fit into a pill bottle. It does not fit into a mechanical work, doesn't fit into a reproducible, something I can just hand you and say, do this at home,
Right.
or a treatment that can be put into a needle.
The only benefit really that I've had relief from is Botox in those muscles in that section.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. The muscles are just. It's postural. The only way to fix it is to get your body upright. The difficulty is I have to get you upright by not making the injured areas do it. And that's difficult because the injured parts are your loosest areas, right? So
Yeah.
they're the ones that are going to be in the front line most willing to do it. And this is where it takes a handful of sessions sometimes, and I have to have feedback from you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I have to take you up to 7,000 feet, Mount Everest, and see how you do. And I have a headache and about to pass out.
Right.
Okay, let's go to 5,000 feet. And okay, I can breathe here. And then we're gonna hang out there for a couple weeks, and then we go back up to 7,000 feet and see how you do. And it's a process of acclimation when you're changing someone's posture. So you're saying it kind of right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get down there. How's this feel? That's what people always ask
Fine.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not filleting you.
No, no.
All right. Let's go face down for me if you can, right here. All these ribs are raised here. All this needs to go down. Especially riding on a motorcycle. I love my motorcycle, but it doesn't tend to have to encourage good posture.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take away your riding. My answer is that if you ride, we have to counter stretch. Otherwise, every day, if we spend a lot of time sitting, over time your posture becomes more and more rounded forward, more and more inflammation in that rib, more and more stress on your lower neck. So the care on this table is to make your spine limber. We can't reshape hard clay. We have to make your spine limber, soft. That way we can change the posture. Once your posture's addressed, the mechanics of the weight of your spine are more evenly distributed over the segments, no one area, and it's one spot. I can point my finger right to it. That's a rib head. When you can put your thumb right on it, it's not an area.
Right.
This is more of an area. It's like kind of this whole section, Ed. That's referral pain. And then you have one rib on top of it that's inflamed. The joint's easier to fix. The discs are non-regenerable. They can be rehydrated. They can be retracted a little bit, but the pathway for that disc to hit the nerve, once it's been opened up, the body can retrace it very easily. I'm not saying we can't treat disc injuries, but they present a larger difficulty than just a joint rib. It's not just the health of your arm, it's the health of your thyroid, the health of your heart, your lungs, your adrenals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
These are all, your immune system's controlled by an organ called the thymus. You know, it's in your upper back or upper front part of your chest. So your immune system gets weakened when you have pressure on these nerves. Like a bag of marbles. Not good. Hello. But notice how I purposely left your lower neck alone, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You can't help an inflamed area by further manipulating it, adjusting it, massaging it. He's more elevated here on the right side. These ribs are under a little bit more continual tension, so the stability of the joint is like a handshake. The more overlap the joint is, the more stable it is. The more we round forward, the more we separate the joint surfaces. So riding a motorcycle separates the handshake. Now we have less contact. The ligament is more stressed the more forward you go. This is what allows for a sprained joint. That ligament starts to tear. The synovial joint capsule is loaded with pain fibers. That's what gives you that pinpoint pain. And until we compress the joint, it really is not self-fixing. It's not self-remedying. You have to go in here, compress the joint, and then I'm going to teach you at the end of the visit how you can participate in compressing it.
Okay.
In order to do that safely, we have to do all this boring work of cleaning your spine and getting the soreness out of your back so that we can do it at a deep enough level for it to actually be effective and to change your posture. Yeah, right there, yeah. Feels like a washboard to me. This is all. Feels like it's had an injury at a young age and then you avoided it and then you kept on avoiding, which then made it easier for it to be injured. There's going to be a significant, I can feel there's a lot of, like right here, there's a significant amount of acidity right there. Feels like a water balloon or a pocket. The mobility of an area is what keeps it clean. We call this imbibition medically. When an area contracts and then relaxes, that creates a pumping action. And when an area just stays contracted, it doesn't flow properly internally. The joints actually clean themselves by mobility, meaning they found when a joint doesn't move, crystals and plaques, like on your teeth, glue, adhesions, looks like sandpaper, forms on the joint surface when a joint doesn't move. Then when you move the joint, ow, it hurts because you're releasing some of that adhesions and sandpaper that's in the joint. Why does that happen? Why does it take 10 days for adhesions and crystals to form in a joint that doesn't move? The answer is I don't know. That's just the reality of what our body does when you don't move a joint. This area, the ribs, for protecting the organs, make this area one of the easiest areas to become stiff. And so I teach that you have to be proactive in keeping this area mobile. If you don't do anything, it'll just lock down on you.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding. Yeah.
Yep. Nobody really teaches us that we have to be proactive. This area becomes stiff. The lower back has to pay the debt. This is what I would have liked to have had checked on you when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, having somebody go in here and checking, hey, you're getting some stiffness in here. Let's do these things now at 15 to prevent this from persisting. So then I'll use massage and gua sha to kind of like WD-40, PB Blaster, to get a loosening effect on the joint. And then we're going to try to adjust you again. We're going to try to go to a deeper level, and sometimes the same bone will move twice, but it'll be at a deeper level. So the first adjustment closes it that far, and then you're going for a full closure of the joint. The joint lasting a lot longer than the disc is why we do it. The knuckles can handle the stress. They'll outlive the discs. Almost all back surgery at its core is because of disc injury. Well, no, Dr. Ed, there's a bone spur hitting a nerve. That's why they're doing the back surgery. Well, the bone spur wouldn't hit the nerve if the disc was healthy.
Right.
So the height loss and or disc injury is really what defines everything. Breathe, come on, breathe. Yeah, let it go. I see you. It's like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I see you. The mark only comes out where there's something internally blocked, so I've combed him as hard there as I did there. That's what he's pointing to. Ed, there's something there. Can you please get it out of me? Adjustments will do it. It just takes a lot of adjustments.
Right.
And can the adjustments clean it out faster than it builds back up if we don't stretch, right? That's where we can get in trouble. There definitely is benefit from the adjustment only part, but if we don't do the stretching, it becomes depressing. You're building it back up faster than singular adjustments can clean it. We're going to try to get ahead of it by doing soft tissue work to speed it up, and then put you right on stretching so that we reduce the refilling of it back up again. Hello. If anybody ever looks at your MRIs with you again, a doctor, and they keep talking about this,
Yeah.
I want you to ask them the question, why is there no injury up here?
Okay.
And when they say, well, or how about this, why is this injured? And if they say old age, then you got them. You say, well, how old's this? Right? And then they go, oh, well, it's wear and tear. Okay, well, why is there no wear and tear up here?
Right.
They really don't, we don't even go there. We don't go there We don't give explanations and answers to why certain parts of your back are younger than you are. And if you can't understand why parts of your back are younger, you'll never understand the older parts. You have to give an answer for why parts of the back don't have arthritis. There really isn't much on your facets. So the facet line is right next to so the spinous is here. This is where the joint is between the vertebrae.
Okay.
I don't have much coming out. I mean, a little bit, but it's pouring out of what we call the rib head line. So that would be the two joints. They're in lines like this. The rib side of the transverse process goes about here. That's the rib joints. So these are the knuckles where the ribs come and attach to the side. We'll try to see if we can get more out of them. I can tell you've been adjusted though. You understand? Because these joints are clean. You understand? Somebody's gone in here and tried to. They did the main hallways, but they made pathways to the kitchen, but they missed all the extra rooms over here. And your pain is, well, really, your pain has nothing to do with these joints in here. You understand?
Right.
Other than the rib joints on the side, but we call them the facets, which are between the vertebrae. Your pain really has not, other than the stiffness in here, which is causing hypermobility here, and then referral pain, and then you got the rib injury. So there is benefit to adjusting these joints and keeping them moving. It will take stress off your lower neck. Epsom salt would be a great, or going to the Gulf of Mexico, or getting a salt bath would be a good home treatment after this.
Okay.
It will help osmotically. So there is no belief. I'm not sure if I believe in chiropractic. I've heard these words my whole life. I go, this is not a religion. There's a physics to this.
Right.
Saying I don't believe in gravity is fine, but it's still going to exist. Somebody might say they don't believe in osmosis. It's like, doesn't matter whether you believe in osmosis or not. It's still a reality.
Right.
When you have areas of salt concentration, water always moves from an area of low salt concentration to an area of high salt concentration. So you put a high amount of salt concentration on the outside of the body, the skin is semi-permeable, water will leave your body to equalize the osmotic pressure, essentially, the salt pressure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're causing your body to lose water by putting salt on the outside. Why would I want that, Ed? Why do I want to dehydrate my body by making salt leave my body? With the water movement, you're taking the internal acidity. So you have two ways for this soreness to get out of your body. One, it goes into your blood. Then your liver and kidney can get access to it because it's outside of the vascular system. It's been trapped in the interstitial, inside the muscles that are knotted up and bound up and don't have good blood flow. It can come through the skin, or it can go into your blood and through your liver and kidneys. I think of it like a movie theater. There's two exits to a movie theater, right? If you're sitting and watching a movie,
At least, yeah.
you have two options. Well, maybe more, but you have the emergency exit right in front of you.
Right.
And you go back to the hallway and go out the main lobby. The emergency exit's right here. It's right through the skin.
Right.
We can get the fastest way out is pushing this right through the skin through osmosis. Or you can go back to the lobby. That's the kidney, liver, and urinating it out. Those are your two options.
Yeah, that's a spot too.
All right, keep breathing, I know. Let's give this about 30 seconds. That's quite a bit of acidity in there. Right there, that's a joint. This is the sacroiliac joint. Ilium means wing, sacrum means sacred. It's a knuckle, 4-inch long joint, most powerful joint in your body. Right there. And I feel pressure from your elbow, there's no pain. That's what I'm looking for. And that's what you're looking for long term. Somebody might say, oh, that area always hurts on me. It's like saying, oh, my gums always bleed. It's not something that I'm willing to just concede and go, okay, well, then never mind. just go ahead and give up. We need to strive to achieve mobility in this joint. That's what allows it to clean itself and not allow it to stay continually sore. Sitting locks this joint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a considerable amount of acidity right where you're pointing.
Yep, that's where I feel that pain.
I want salt on that to draw that out. Like I said earlier, and it felt more sore the next morning, then it'll be more dissipated. It won't be the same, but you'll feel some difference tomorrow morning. As that mark starts to go away, as you see it fading, typically it should be gone in 24 hours in an ideal circumstance. If there was internal circulation that was proper, I doubt it's going to be that quick. It's going to take more like 72 hours for that mark to go away, maybe a little longer. But I'm saying if we do the salt, it will speed it up. But as you see that mark going away, Ed, the pain is half, a third of what it used to be. And then every visit, it's like running a carpet cleaner. We get less and less out until there's no mark coming out. Then we do the stretching so it doesn't just form again, and depressingly we're back to square one. And I'll show you that in a minute. We're going to stretch. Breathe. I know it's tough. I know. I'm going. I did not like the green roller, Ed. All right, I'm sorry. Yep, we got work to do. I'm going to show you in a minute. Feel the difference. You feel. I mean, this is all low over here. Do you feel
right?
Right.
Yep.
This is all popped up.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go into this and compress. That's what I was saying earlier. It'll just refill back up again. If we're just adjusting this, it becomes depressing. We have to stretch. You can't stretch properly, and nor should you stretch until your body's prepped. And that's what we're doing here. I doubt anybody's touched your toes before, huh?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're good, yeah. Let me check the knee in a little bit. I got you. There we go, good. Go ahead and tilt your head a little bit to the left. Okay, good. Tilt a little bit left for me. Okay, fine. A little stuck there. Here we go. Just tilt a little left. Okay. Different. I gotcha. All right, go ahead and tilt your head a little bit to the right, a little bit more for me, a little bit more. Okay, all right. Don't look really hard then. There we go. I got you. Tilt a little bit. Okay, so as you master this, what we're going to do is actually just do 20 minutes right over that spot. Does that make sense? You're not going to move at all.
Okay.
You're going to locate that rib injury, go right on it, 20 minutes, no book.
Okay.
Right? That's where we're trying. So the steps to get there are you're moving around, you have books behind your head. Those are all crutches that we use to get to the place where we want to be. And then once you master that, Ed, aren't you happy now? Nope. Now we get on this. Oh, great. Now this is difficult. And that's the process of fixing this. Go back the way it came that move. Yeah. Baby step. Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna need a couple books. Do you understand? Especially the first 10 times you do it, because my worry is that your lower neck is gonna bend too much, and when the lower neck bends too much, you might get referral pain. I understand if it already hurts in that area when you get on, but if it starts getting worse, does that make sense?
Yeah.
If the pain starts getting worse while you're doing this, in that shoulder blade area, not the rib, but the upper, in between the shoulder blades, that's because you're bending your lower neck too much. Okay. Does that make sense? So that's not a good pain. We need to try to avoid lower neck stressing. If the rib hurts while you're compressing it, push through it. You understand? If it gives you that sharp pain right at ground zero, that is okay to feel. You're just compressing the joint. It's not a bad pain. But the radiating area pain means you're aggravating your lower neck. We need to try to not let that get worse while we're doing this. As you're coming up, try to keep the weight back. You want to keep it on the back side. That makes sense? Keep your body on the back side. the more you let that come out, it's going to come back again. You want to, part of this is lifestyle retraining. You know, this is what
Right.
keeping it on the backside, at least in the first 9 days while it's calming down. If you keep, long periods of time sitting, will re-tear that ligament and re-aggravate it, and it makes it more difficult. So, how do you feel?
Feel good.
Yep, you're really good. It's a really good adjustment. So, appreciate you coming in and dropping in. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.